Hey, what's going on, friends? Family, my name is Skylent, and I love talking about living world games. Hopefully you guys subscribe for that. And today we got a brand new one. It's not quite out yet, but coming soon, we have Profane. This is going to be, I guess you could say, a true sandbox MMO. Like, a lot of games are, I don't know, kind of sandboxes. Black Desert, maybe. RuneScape, maybe, but really what you want is something like this game. Really, that's like its tagline, that's its motto. A true sandbox MMO. You're going to be building villages. It's going to be full loot. It is going to be PvP. And you're even going to be kind of contesting territory with PvE tribes and monsters and stuff like that. Like, they're actually going to be moving around the map and conquesting themselves as you try to conquer the world. A lot of stuff going down. And this is a very ambitious game coming from a studio, a Brazilian studio, independent game studio, founded with just 6 people. So we'll see where this game actually goes. It looks really cute, it looks ambitious, and I think it could reach further than they can actually properly aim. But, in the end, hey, we can just keep the hype alive, right, guys? So, Profane. Right, this is a game that was suggested by a commenter. I'm surprised I haven't heard about it, but honestly, this is a pretty low-key game, despite it. I think that a lot of people want to see these kind of games right now. So, I'm going to shout it out. I'm going to take what you guys give me, that love, the support, the attention, obviously, and spotlight new indie games that, generally it's going to be like living world stuff or action RPGs and stuff like that. But this is going to be an action MMORPG sandbox game. So let's learn more a little bit about it and when this game is going to come out and stuff like that. And now, just immediately, because this is a turn on or off for some people, the game is going to release as a buy-to-play early access, but it will be free-to-play. Eventually, Profane will go free-to-play. So you can join the Discord now, join the game. It looks like they have some people playing the game from the trailer footage. I don't know how they're giving off keys and stuff like that. I'm sure there's an NDA, but eventually this will be an early access, buy-to-play title that will be free-to-play on PC Windows. Keep that in mind, guys. That's where this game is going to be played. Now, about this game. Okay, so we got a lot of ambitious stuff that's going to be said. I'll give you my thoughts and feelings as we talk through this. But just know it's very ambitious for an indie game, and there's definitely going to be some sacrifices for it. You can already see it in the gameplay. The trailer footage, not that well produced. There's not that much information, at least going on with like the videos and stuff like that, not like proper dev diaries. But I have to say the website's really nice. It's very well done. So anyways, clean and clear cut, guys. It's just a sandbox MMO inspired by, stuff like Ultima, things like that. Now they're stating it's going to be a world without boundaries. You're going to be free to explore, make your own decisions, and create your own strategy to succeed. Now, as we discuss some of these bullet points, some of them might sound extremely vague, like what I just said. What does that even mean? Because there might be a little bit of a translation issue as well, coming from Brazil and now from an American's mouth. Yes. Explore and practice. Right. Do you want to become the best swordsman in the world? You will need to work on it. Do you want to become a true necromancer? You'll have to travel the world to conquer the necessary powers. Has someone taken your dream title? Find and destroy them. All those things could be very generic. Maybe it just means a quest here and there, or it could be kind of almost like, you actually have to go out into the world and find these spells. You have to actually go out into the world and conquer these NPCs or other players that might have the title literally, and then, you take it and put it on your name tag. That would, oh my God, that would be so sick. There's a lot of exciting things here, especially with the fact that like actual repetition and actually doing certain things, like maybe using swords, you actually get better at using swords and stuff like that, or, finding spells out in the world. Just very, very exciting stuff that a lot of people say they want in MMOs. In fact, that's going to be kind of the case for this game, is that a lot of the features are stuff that you'll just see over and over, like my dream MMO has this and that and that. And this is just like an amalgamation of all those, kind of in the spirit, though, of pre-World of Warcraft development for MMOs. So combat and work proficiency. Combat and work proficiency can be learned and practiced through interactions with the world, whether by collecting the resources or building it or using different weapons and spells. It kind of reminds me of like you play Skyrim or something like that. The more you do something, the better you level up, blah, blah, blah. Crowfall is going to do stuff like that. A bunch of games do that, sure, mostly survival games. And I think that a lot of this game is going to be very inspired by survival-style titles. We're actually getting a lot of survival MMOs coming up, like just real quick, and also have just recently released. So yeah, I think you could probably consider, this is like a survival MMO that a lot of people are looking forward to. Yeah, you're going to be able to create your own combat strategy. Yeah, as you explore the world, you will discover several elemental skills. It's not enough to have them in your possession. You need to activate them in your build though. So, you're going to accrue all these different spells, very similar. Kind of sounds like Elder Scrolls Online, and then you pick and choose what actually goes on your skill bar from there. If you don't like your strategy or you want to test a new combat style, you can redo your build and live a completely different experience. It seems like they really want it to be very similar to Elder Scrolls, or potentially maybe even more in-depth from what I can tell from the pictures and stuff like that. Kind of reminds me of Guild Wars 1, where you really, pick each and every one. It's going to be open PvP and full loot. That's very, very clear, very clear. Guys, that's what this game's going to have. I don't think they're going to bait and switch. I don't think they don't mean it. Even though there is going to be PvE, even the PvE has like a PvP kind of feel to it. And it's going to be an open world PvEvP sort of situation. So basically what they're saying on the website, I like that they say this. Have you ever tried an MMORPG with open PvP and full loot? ? If you haven't, take the opportunity to get to know it by playing Profane. If you guys have never played a game like that, there is something unique and special. The cat and mouse, the running, the hiding, the ganking, the hunting. There is something really cool there, and it can be very toxic. That's for sure. But maybe this game will do it real good. Like, who knows? I'll definitely comment on that real soon here. But anyways, we will be conquering territories. That is going to be a big aspect. I hope it's more long-lived than something like in PlanetSide. PlanetSide's very arcade, but hopefully it's not as set in stone as some other games like Albion. People really feel like guilds just kind of conquer the world and then that's it. It's really hard to get into the game past that. So what they say here is having your own territory in Profane can offer you many advantages in the game, obviously. For example, you get to charge taxes on the resources collected in that area and expand your dynasty. But watch out. Your ambition can draw attention from other adventurers that may want to claim your territory for themselves. Yeah, conquer territories, but not only other players are conquering territories, guys. There is going to be NPC territory conquest, or mobs are going to be able to move around the world and kind of, set up tribes and stuff, apparently. I have no idea how impactful that's going to be. At the worst case, though, we have mobs that switch places around the map. That could be cool. You have to actually hunt, find where their spawn is for that week or whatever, that day, and, then grind them out there. Yeah. One thing they say here, actually, is that the Sandbox world promises to be very challenging, especially if there's others lurking around. Obviously, PvP is challenging. So yeah. In case a neighboring town gets in the way of your development, you may negotiate a consolidation, but if you're unable to reach an agreement, you may have to attack them. So maybe a little bit of politics. Yeah, you do have territories and stuff like that. Could feel like a real-time 4X, but in an MMO setting. You will literally be building stuff too, by the way, in your territories. You will actually have like a housing system. You will actually be building like little villages and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Full loot, full PvP, and conquering territories, but it's not just smashing faces. There is going to be a little bit of like creativity and cutesiness and I don't know, kind of Minecraftiness going on with building your town or whatever. Hopefully it's more in-depth than what we see with upcoming games, maybe like New World, where that's just a PvP kind of thing. Hopefully we do have a lot of fun stuff and a lot of creativity when it comes to our housing, but the housing system kind of reminds me of maybe like a lighter version, maybe less customization to Fallout 76, where you have a plot of land, and this one you can share with people apparently, but you have a plot of land and then you can kind of move furniture around and stuff like that. I don't think you're going to be building houses by houses, but you can arrange the houses where you want, kind of. So I guess everyone's village is going to look the same. One thing that I would appreciate, since the game will be free to play, is if we could purchase skins for our houses. That's something that Fallout 76 kind of does, wallpapers, things like that. Even if everyone can only put like certain houses, if we could buy like, okay, if I want like a tower for a house, then I'll buy the tower for the house for $5 or whatever. Or maybe I can skin it, buy a red roof instead of a blue roof, blah, blah, blah. I think I would appreciate that. Cosmetic things, especially with a town building, since it's such a big factor inside the game. That's not something that they said would be the case, but it will be free to play. And then, from there, they will sell cosmetics. I hope it will also be similar to Fallout 76, cosmetic for not just armors and stuff like that, but for the housing, things like that. There will also be professions. Profane will have a lot of activities for those who like to evolve in countless professions, such as commerce, fishing, cooking, and much more. But stay alert, our world is not free from danger. Learn how to defend yourselves or hire someone to help you in your endeavors. So it looks like when you're doing professions, things like that, especially with trading, probably, stuff and things might happen. Maybe there's going to be bandits like in Black Desert Online. PvP obviously is going to be a big thing, and maybe it's going to be a case where like, okay, you're brewing a potion, but it takes like 10 minutes to do so. I don't know. Is that going to cause like a wave survival kind of thing? Is it going to alert other players that this is happening? Can players steal from you? Kind of Clash of Clans, they steal your elixir. Who freaking knows? But then again, it's just really vague promises that we can dream about, right? And one thing that they are really focusing on in how they build their game, which is a double-edged sword, is going to be the concept of building your own story and emergent gameplay from player to player. So in Profane, everything is connected to 5 elements. That's going to be light, shadow, nature, mind, and instinct. That's really actually interesting, instead of just being like the elements of fire, earth, water, whatever. And a mysterious entity that seems to want to destroy everything. In the trailer, it makes it seem like there's like a sort of like eldritch kind of deity, god kind of thing, like some mysterious Lovecraftian sort of thing going on. That is like maybe the source of power for the world, but the world itself wants to kill everything? I don't know. Kind of weird. Could be epic. Could just be boring. After a long period of war in which magic was nearly extinguished by an inquisition, players come in, and it is now their time to discover the ruins of old empires, recover the magic of the 5 elements, and make their own history. Now that sounds incredibly similar to New World and a whole bunch of games, really, honestly. A couple of these magical survival MMOs, it's like, you know, you just uncover these ancient technologies or ancient magic, and then, yeah, okay, same story. But even though it looks similar at first glance, this could actually be really, really cool. It could be fun, okay, guys? That's all I'm trying to say. I'm really interested in this genre. That's absolutely for sure for me. But anyways, guys, what do we got? For the dynamic world, we were talking about that. Building your own story, and even though there's a foundation of like a little bit of lore, I don't think there's not gonna be quests like proper. It's gonna be a lot like just a PvP survival game. There's gonna be NPCs, you know, PvP, PvE, EVP, PvX, whatever. There's gonna be PvX going on, okay? There's gonna be monsters, and they look fun. I like the worm creature, the elementals, and they have dynamic events where these bosses spawn in and, you know, they wreck shit up and you got to beat them up. But I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of life in this game. It's going to probably feel a lot like Darkfall or maybe Mortal Online or a lot of these other sandbox games. I'm really getting Darkfall vibes from this game, despite how cartoon it looks. It's going to be very empty other than other players. So is this going to feel more like a survival MMO server kind of thing? I don't think they mentioned if we can have our own servers, but it's going to be like that. And I do actually say, I would say that this is probably going to be a very unpopulated game. So just keep that in mind. This is going to be a niche game for those niche players who, yeah, you played Mortal, Darkfall, and other titles like that. You just jump from niche PvP sandbox MMO to the other. If you're not playing BDO, EVE, or Albion Online, then I guess you're playing this game. Yeah. This is the next cool one. Even though actually we do have a couple of these coming out. Neither the cities or the villages are fixed. They can be destroyed completely or evolved by the action of other players. Sounds a lot like Ashes of Creation, right? Also, collected resources will not appear again in the same places. Location factors may not always be the same. The world reacts to your actions. And I really like that. That's going to give a lot of replayability. That might even give rise to type of players who just spec in just speed and running around and scouting even. Like, oh, let's go find where this monster location is. Sure. Oh, what about the ore and the trees? And, you know, different things are going to spawn in different locations, and you're going to need people to find that, and you're going to need people to venture out and go conquer that, or what have you. And I do like that. There's a little bit of nomadic-ish with the game. And some games force nomadicism through really hardcore mechanics, like Last Oasis, where the map literally has to be erased and you got to go to a new map. Some games have fresh starts or refreshers. Crowfall's trying to do that. We just had Population Zero and another game I talked about where every week the game world has to reset. So we will see how this game does it. I like the idea that nothing resets, but things do change. So if you built your kingdom on, you know, making metal and armors and warring and stuff like that, but then you deplete all the ore, what's going to happen then? Do you evolve? Do you change? Does your kingdom fall into disarray? Stuff like that's really cool, and the randomization of materials or the spawns of these materials and mob spawns is a thing I've wanted that for so long. Whenever I talk to a developer, the first thing I always say, they're like, what would you like in an MMO? I say I want roaming mobs. I think it's stupid that like minotaurs just run in a circle. Have them run through the whole fields. Have them travel. And so stuff like this is really cool. Anyways, that rant aside, they also say you're going to be able to experience unique adventures every time you challenge a powerful monster. Be ready to face surprises and unpredictable situations. Of course, that's just vague and that could just be bullshit, but even though, I'm going to say this, combat, I know you've been watching the gameplay in the background, combat does look really floaty. It looks really floaty. In fact, I would say this definitely looks indie. This looks not great. It reminds me a lot of early Darkfall gameplay. If you look back at that, very floaty, very indie. But the monsters look really good. You know, I'm definitely someone who would be critical of monsters. I love me some big ass monsters, fighting big ass monsters, giant killing. But I think this game it probably is going to live up a little bit to that. Apparently, there's going to be artifacts. Every game's got to have artifacts. New World's hyping that up. Albion loves their artifacts. I think a lot of Sandbox games. The concept of just like certain items are just big badass weapons. You know, Thunder Fury. You know what I'm talking about? Did you say Thunder Fury? But yeah, artifacts are very singular items that can conceive incredible powers to their owners. It's not going to be easy to find. All that good stuff. Blah blah blah. Artifacts exist in the game. Right? Blessed Blade. So, and there's going to be factions. Factions, not just like, you know, Alliance versus Horde PvP, it's PvE stuff. And that's what I'm talking about, how the monsters will not always be in the same places, but they don't just spawn in different locations apparently. They can actually expand their own territories. They take territory from other players. They can actually conquest. Now, how that's done, I don't know. Is it going to be like New World where they literally attack the gates and it's like a wave survival thing? I don't know, maybe it's like, if you happen to be AFK like multiple days in a row, maybe it just goes to the monsters. However, it's actually implemented, it's still a really cool concept. So yeah, beware of that. Enemy tribes may not like to see your village expanding, right? That's also going to be the PvE factions as well. Anyways, so moving into the game, FAQ, we can actually just directly ask the developers, yo, what's up? They're gonna answer. And we're going to see what this game is going to really turn out to be like. Right after this, I'm going to give my opinion and, you know, maybe some recommendations, even though it's not my job as a critic. But I just try to be real with you guys, you know, keep you hype and get you excited, but also really try to be real. So here's the FAQ, frequently asked questions. Here we go. What kind of game is Profane? We've already pretty much mentioned it. It's pretty clear. It's a sandbox, massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Though I will say, haven't had any hard numbers on the actual player count per server, what have you. Like, is it actually going to be an MMO? And it seems like the general number people are okay with saying is 40 players. We need at least 40 players all together in real time beating up one giant monster. If it's 20 versus 20 PvP, and if it's instanced or whatever, it's just not, that's not an MMO. There's some pretty strict measures, I think, but at least 40 players. If the servers, and I'm not just saying like a server, if the server holds 40 players, it's got to be 40 players literally in the same spot and actually run well. So, but it says it's going to be a sandbox MMO, all right, role-playing game. There will be actual talents and abilities and stuff like that. It's going to have a total focus on freedom and adventure, as well as territorial domination. This is a PvP MMORPG. It has PvE, and it looks like a little bit more than, you know, stuff like Last Oasis or a few other titles. Maybe not as much as New World, but it's gonna be a PvP game. The game is set in a dynamic open world featuring open PvP, full loot, and skill-based action combat. And while the combat does look floaty, etc., it says skill-based action combat as well, with a lot of mixing and matching of abilities. Something that I think a lot of you guys who played Darkfall might like. Housing system, which doesn't seem too exciting to be honest, and proficiency-based progression, which I think a lot of you guys like. Even though they say proficiency, this is a whole nother rant video. I'm just going to say this right here because I think you guys are going to agree with me. But when a lot of games say proficiency, like you use a sword a lot so you get better at swords, that's not proficiency. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So just because you swing a sword 1,000 times does not mean that you're actually better at swinging a sword. That's just a time gating sort of thing. It's just grind, really. I would like a game where I can actually make my own moves, or like it's so skill-based that there is such a skill ceiling where literally my player skill is what bases my progression, not some arbitrary role-playing stats. Like, have my role-playing be in magic and you know, picking out my abilities, sure, but have those abilities be with such a skill ceiling. Anyways, that's what I gotta say. But yeah, you're gonna be able to build, destroy, and conquer villages. They say cities, they say empires, but I think what that brings to mind is something like, you know, a thriving living city like in World of Warcraft, Stormwind, Orgrimmar, stuff like that. You know, let's go raid Undercity. I don't think it's gonna be like that. I think they're expecting players to make the empires. I don't see that happening. This is gonna be a niche game. It's gonna be smaller. It's cool to fantasize. Maybe, who knows, but we'll see. And they say NPC behavior will be inspired by RTS games, dynamically spawning and growing on the game's world. So maybe It says cities created by NPCs, not just tribes or little tents. It does say cities, so maybe they can be evolved, so maybe they could become empires. That would be really cool. That would be fucking amazing if there was like some faction that people just ignored for long. Could you imagine if Hogger eventually made his own like little kingdom and he became a whole nother faction? Like, cause everyone just forgot about Hogger for long enough? That'd be crazy. Of course, that craziness is what gets people into these games and, you know, bubbling at the mouth, frothing, but at the same time, that's pretty ambitious. So we'll see what they do. It would be pretty cool. Now, there's gonna be no classes. Oh, it says no classes, and it also says no levels. I've heard that before. Albion Online had the tag of no levels, but there's totally levels in Albion. They're just not called levels, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, that's the general gist of the game, right? That's pretty much it. Anyways, what's the current phase of development? And this is where I kind of gotta, I don't know, I gotta say something kind of pretty negative, to be honest, even though I make videos on games I'm hyped for. But we are in the middle of 2020, and I know this year has been full of fuck, but on their website, they actually still only have that, it's like, okay, 2019, we're making a roadmap for 2020. But we're halfway through 2020, and they're still making a roadmap for 2020? That's scary. I mean, maybe that's somewhere in the Discord or whatever. You should really update the website for that. Is the game available for testing publicly? No, it's not. It's not. Since the alpha version is being developed, there's no test available right now. A lot of times when I cover games, it's like, oh, in a week or in a month, we're going to have a big test or it's going to launch in early access. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just showing off this game. But I'm pretty sure if you join the Discord and talk enough, they might let you in for, you know, NDA testing. Maybe you can even become like a community manager or something. Who knows? It's really fun to join games early on and dream and fantasize and help these developers develop the game with them. But keep a level head is all I'm saying. So the game's not available to actually be played right now. And all the trailers, I gotta say, they look pre-alpha. As Profane being tested by the community, though, yes, you can actually see the gameplay. They actually did have a test once in 2018 and 2019. So it has been tested. People have played it. And so they actually did have some founders packs. They might actually do another phase coming soon. That'd be really cool. So how can you become a backer? Right now, there is no founders packs, but maybe soon there will be packages whenever they have the next phase. So when is the game expected to release, guys? That's what you guys are looking forward to. When is it going to release? It's too soon to announce a release date right now. However, there's going to be an estimated alpha ready for testing sometime around late 2020, though I don't know. That we're halfway through 2020, no announcement on that, but early 2021. So probably next year. Starting next year, January, this game's probably going to come into a spotlight. People are going to talk about it again. Yeah. Okay, so what's the business model? I already said it, but basically during the alpha, which is early access, the game will be buy to play through a founders pack. Now, that kind of probably means that they're going to have their own launcher and they're self-publishing. I don't know if it's going to launch on Steam. Actually, if they don't launch on Steam, that's going to be really bad. It doesn't seem like they're going to do Steam Early Access. I really wish they would. That kind of sucks. But anyways, that's just going to be what it is. Buy a Founders Pack, you can play in the alpha. And from the beta on, it's going to be free to play. Though again, they're not saying which store they're going to sell on. So there's going to be selling items with the purpose of increasing player immersion, such as skins. They don't specifically say only cosmetics. It's immersion focused items. But I guess maybe that means the skins will make sense in the world and you're not going to have motorbikes as mounts or whatever. So, will Profane be pay to win? I honestly fucking hate, and I'm sorry I'm cursing a lot here, I'm very passionate, but when games answer their own question to pay to win, that's like saying, will your game be good? And they're like, hell yeah, it's going to be the best game ever. You can't say that. Pay to win is something that needs to be criticized. Every single company on the planet almost will say, no, it's not pay to win. But everyone has different definitions, and it's just stupid. So they say no. Items sold in the game will be cosmetic. See, right there. That's where they should have put a damn period right there. Will be cosmetic, period. Done. That's it. But here we go. It says cosmetic or have the purpose of increasing the player's immersion by not offering advantage. What does that even mean? That sounds vague as hell. What does that mean? It probably means there's going to be boosters. I don't know. Maybe you'll even be able to buy directly abilities, which you normally would have to grind for or find in the world. Maybe people wouldn't mind that. I mean, that happens in PlanetSide, right? Normally you'd have to grind to buy a weapon, or you could just buy it instantly. Does it matter? I don't know, man. I just like cosmetics only. That's all I'm saying. And anything else, it becomes a gray area and it becomes wibbly wobbly. And I don't think you can just say no, period, when you have more after just saying it'll be cosmetic. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it. Oh, big question, guys. Profane servers, how are they going to work? Region separation, stuff like that. A lot of you guys follow me from EU, want to play with me. How's this going to work, guys? I don't know. Yes, there's going to be a separation between North America, Europe, South America, all that good stuff. But there's going to be a twist, apparently. It's the goal to make players interact with each other regardless of what country they live in. I actually love that. And they're working to create a world where each map region is hosted on a different server. I think that'd be cool. But all servers will be part of the same world map, being access to everyone. That could be cool. We want to give players the freedom to cross over to foreign server regions. So if you live in Brazil and want to visit a region that is hosted on a US server, for example, you can simply just go there. Just be aware that by doing so, there's additional risk of being away from home, possibility of suffering from latency, all the obvious stuff. They'll make it clear. But, you know, I think it's really cool that they would allow that sort of thing. But this is actually not an unpopular opinion. Almost everyone on the planet, other than Chinese players, will agree with this. But I think China should be region locked. And I don't believe in region locking, but sadly, just based on statistics, Chinese players cheat a lot. They cheat a lot. And I think it has maybe something to do with the fact that they play in cafes and stuff like that. It's easy. It's also based on other work that I've done in the real world. Frankly, and this might sound, I'm sorry to say this, maybe very toxic and harsh, but there is a culture of cheating. And that's just historic with all online Chinese games. I moderate forums for Sandbox PvP MMO. I've played them, you've played them. In games and otherwise, there is a culture that permeates that. So I do think that Chinese maybe, if you're not going to have severe anti-cheat and severe in-game moderation, then, you know, that there is a reason why people do region lock and do enjoy region locking, because different regions have different laws and different ease of access or incentivizations for players to cheat. I don't know if you guys know about RuneScape and what happens with botting in different regions and why they do it and why they sell gold, but there is reasons why in real life locations might want to be region locked inside a video game. Though in general, I don't want to sound racist or, you know, insensitive, but in general, I do actually I like having non-separated regions. I do want to play with you guys. If you live in Korea, Japan, or what have you, I want to play with all you guys. And even I do want to play with Chinese players, okay? It's just fuck, man. Do you know what I'm saying? I can't even say anymore. Jesus. Anyways. Stop zerging and cheating all the time. That's all I'm saying. So it is kind of an issue, but I don't know. That was a rant and a half. So what if all the regions get too full? They'll create new servers. So that's pretty much it. Anyways, what are the minimum requirements? That's all vague. It's going to probably be a lot. I don't think this game's going to be very optimized. I'm not even going to read that. And will Profane have any publishers? Will it be released on Steam? Here's the question. We didn't decide yet. Oh, man. That's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. So whenever somebody's like, we don't know what the monetization scheme's going to be like, or it's like, we don't know what storefront we're going to sell at. We don't know this and that. When all that stuff is part of the development. We don't know if we want to do expansions. Not saying that they said all these things, but this is one of those things. We didn't decide yet because our focus at the moment is developing the game. Developing the game. That's your whole focus. Developing the game. But this is an online game. It's a games as a service. You need to focus on publishing this game. Your trailers are kind of not good. The footage that I've seen so far is unimpressive. It's just not very fantastic and potent. And even though I can look at the words and I know what type of game this is going to be and it excites me very much, so much so, still, to the average person, this is not a very good job of publishing. I actively look for new MMOs, and I had to have somebody in my comments section tell me about this game. That's what I'm saying. So let's be a little bit louder and maybe let's focus on publishing. And yes, you need to sell on Steam. You need to sell in early access on Steam. You need to. Shut up. You need to. Do it. Do it. Okay? Oh my God. And will Profane be available for other platforms? This game looks like it could run on consoles. I mean, if they actually optimize it. For now, Profane is just going to be on Windows. yeah, they're going to consider looking at other platforms, but I assure you, it's probably not going to be. It would be, if this game was cross-platform, you can actually play with other people, it ran well, and it, it launched on Steam, and it actually published itself well, and was updated, and ran decent enough, this would be a very popular game despite being really such a niche genre. But then again, I'm not the one who's publishing this game. Maybe I should publish games. Maybe we should make our own MMO, guys. Who wants to join me? But anyways, Profane does look kind of exciting. There's obviously, for every pro I could say, which is really mostly vague promises, there's a negative, and it's almost an assured negative. So we'll see how this game actually unfolds in the future, but they don't have any Founders Packs at the moment. I can't say what the price is going to be like, what have you, but the game will eventually launch as a free-to-play game for PC. It could be really cool. It could be great. I think there's a lot of survival MMOs and a lot of sandbox MMOs that have done really just fine. Look at Albion Online. We're having a good time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this game and all the others I've talked about, but still looking at it with a little bit of a critical eye, even though I'm keeping that hype alive. But that's what I gotta say, guys. That's all the news and stuff and video footage that I can regurgitate about this game. Profane, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for the Patreon supporters, likers, subscribers, and all the commenters and everybody's and things. Thanks, guys. We're having a good time here, I hope. All I can ask is that you had fun, and I will see you in the next one.